The dirty water splashed against Elena's face. Bradley Thornton III held the bucket laughing. "Drink it, trash," he commanded. 200 executives watched. Some recorded on their phones. Nobody moved to help the 54-year-old janitor kneeling on the marble floor. What none of them knew, what would destroy Bradley's entire world in exactly 72 hours, was that this worthless cleaning woman had killed more enemies of America than every person in that ballroom combined. Commander Elena Vasquez, United States Navy SEALs, had been watching them for 3 years. And tonight she finally had everything she needed. If you want to see how this satisfying story unfolds, subscribe to our channel and stay until the very end. Comment below which city you're watching from. I'd love to see how far this story travels. Elena Vasquez pushed her cleaning cart through the service corridor of Blackstone Ridge Resort, her rubber-soled shoes silent against the polished concrete. 3 years. 1,096 days of emptying trash cans, scrubbing toilets, and becoming invisible. Tonight was different. Tonight the trap would finally close. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Ghost Dog confirms. Target acquired evidence in Suite 847. Photos of falsified test documents. Your window is tonight." Elena deleted the message and kept walking. Her hands scarred, calloused, steady, as surgical steel gripped the cart handle. Those hands had pulled triggers in Kandahar, applied tourniquets in Fallujah, and held her dying son's dog tags 4 years ago when the Marine Corps chaplain knocked on her door. "Hey, janitor lady." Elena stopped. She didn't turn around. Marcus Webb, 28 years old, junior account executive, jogged toward her. His face was flushed from expensive whiskey. His tie hung loose. "Mr. Chen needs someone to clean up a spill in the executive lounge. Pronto." Elena nodded slowly. "I'm assigned to the West Wing tonight, sir. Perhaps you could call." "Did I ask for your schedule?" Marcus stepped closer. "Mr. Chen, executive lounge. Now." Elena looked at him. Really looked. She saw the Harvard ring on his finger, the Rolex that cost more than her annual salary as a janitor, the casual cruelty in his eyes that came from never being told no. She also saw something else. Fear. Buried deep, but there. This boy was scared of something. "Of course, sir." Elena turned her cart and headed toward the executive lounge. Behind her, Marcus pulled out his phone and sent a text. "She's coming. Get the guys ready." The executive lounge buzzed with energy. Maxwell Defense Industries had rented out the entire resort for their annual leadership conference. 300 executives, board members, and Pentagon brass all gathered to celebrate another record-breaking quarter of defense contracts. Elena entered through the service door. The spill Marcus mentioned didn't exist. Instead, a semicircle of young executives had formed near the bar. Bradley Thornton III stood at the center, his $1,000 suit jacket draped over a chair, sleeves rolled up like he was about to do real work. "There she is." Bradley's voice cut through the ambient music. "Our favorite cleaning lady." Elena stopped. She counted 7 men, 2 women, all under 40, all drunk, all looking at her like she was entertainment. "Mr. Thornton." Elena's voice was flat, neutral. "How can I help you?" Bradley walked toward her, whiskey sloshing in his crystal tumbler. "You know what I love about this country, Elena." "Can I call you Elena?" "My name badge says Elena, sir." Right. Bradley circled her slowly. "What I love is that anyone can make it. Anyone can climb the ladder. The American dream, right?" Elena said nothing. She'd learned long ago that men like Bradley didn't want answers. They wanted audiences. But here's the thing. Bradley stopped in front of her. Some people are climbers. And some people... He leaned close, whiskey breath hot against her face. Some people are meant to clean up after the climbers. Light laughter from the group. "Which one are you?" Elena met his eyes. In another life, in her real life, that look would have been the last thing Bradley Thornton ever saw. She'd killed men with her bare hands for less disrespect. But Commander Elena Vasquez was dead. She'd been dead for 3 years. Tonight she was just Elena. Just a janitor. Just invisible. "I'm whatever you need me to be, Mr. Thornton." Something flickered in Bradley's eyes. Disappointment, maybe. He'd wanted a reaction, a flinch, something he could use. Boring. He turned back to his friends. She's boring. Megan Price Bradley's personal assistant stepped forward. 28 years old, ambitious, hungry in ways she didn't fully understand yet. Maybe she needs some motivation, Brad. Megan's smile was sharp. You know my mother was a maid, cleaned houses in Orange County for 20 years. Know what motivated her? Elena waited. Fear. Megan pulled out her phone. She was terrified of losing her job, of being deported, of being nothing. The phone's camera activated. Let's see what motivates Elena. Bradley's face lit up with childish delight. Megan, you beautiful genius. He snapped his fingers at a busboy. You, bring me that bucket. The busboy, 19, maybe 20, working his way through community college, hesitated. Sir, that's the dishwater. Did I stutter? The busboy brought the bucket. Gray water, food particles floating on the surface, the smell of stale grease and chemical sanitizer. Bradley took it with both hands, holding it like a trophy. You know what I think, Elena? He stepped toward her. I think you've forgotten your place. I think 3 years of yes, sir, no, sir, has made you think you're one of us. Elena's pulse remained steady. 62 beats per minute. Combat calm. You're not one of us. You're not even close. Bradley lifted the bucket. You're trash, and trash drinks from the same water it swims in. He threw the bucket. The gray water hit Elena's face. Her chest soaked through her uniform. The shock of cold. The humiliation of filth. The laughter, God, the laughter from 9 throats that had never known real hardship. Elena stood perfectly still. Water dripped from her chin. Her eyes never left Bradley's face. Megan moved closer, phone recording. Oh my God, her face. Brad, look at her face. Bradley grinned. What's the matter, trash? Cat got your tongue? Elena wiped water from her eyes with the back of her hand. When she spoke, her voice was calm, almost gentle. You'll want to delete that video, Ms. Price. More laughter. Bradley clapped his hands. She's threatening us. The janitor is threatening us. It's not a threat. Elena's eyes moved to Megan. It's advice. In 72 hours, that video will be evidence in a federal investigation. Everyone who appears in it will be questioned. Their phones will be seized. Their finances will be audited. She paused. Delete it now, and you might avoid prosecution. The laughter died. Bradley's face twisted. What did you say? I said delete the video, Ms. Price. This is your only warning. Bradley grabbed Elena's arm. Hard. His fingers dug into the muscle above her elbow. Listen to me, you worthless. Elena moved. No one saw it clearly. One moment Bradley had her arm. The next he was on his knees, his wrist bent at an angle that made Megan gasp, his face pressed against the wet carpet. 3 pounds of pressure, Elena said quietly, adjusting her grip. That's all it takes to snap a human wrist. Your insurance won't cover it. The surgery will cost $90,000. Physical therapy will take 18 months. You'll never grip a golf club the same way again. Bradley screamed. Not from pain, she hadn't hurt him yet, but from terror. Pure primal terror at being completely helpless under the hands of someone he'd assumed was nothing. Let go. Let go of me. When I release you, Mr. Thornton, you're going to stand up slowly. You're going to apologize to me. And then you're going to walk out of this room and spend the next 72 hours wondering what just happened. Security, security. Elena leaned close to his ear. Security won't help you. Your father's money won't help you. The senator you bribed won't help you. The only thing that might help you is if you start telling the truth about what happened to those Marines in Djibouti. Bradley stopped struggling. His face went white. How do you know about 19 men? Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. 19 Marines died because the body armor your company sold them had defective ceramic plates. You knew. You signed the quality control overrides. I have the documents. She released him. Bradley scrambled backward, cradling his wrist. Who are you? Who the hell are you? Elena straightened her soaked uniform. She looked at the group of young executives, all frozen, all terrified, all suddenly very sober. "I'm nobody, Mr. Thornton. I'm just the cleaning lady." She turned and walked toward the service door. "Wait, wait." Elena paused but didn't turn around. Bradley's voice cracked. "My father will destroy you. He'll sue you into oblivion. You'll never work again. Your father is being arrested in approximately 12 hours. Elena's voice carried no emotion. "Wire fraud, bribery of federal officials, accessory to involuntary manslaughter, 27 counts." She glanced over her shoulder. "You might want to call your lawyer, Mr. Thornton, before the FBI calls you." She walked out. The room remained silent for a full 30 seconds. Then Megan Price, her phone still recording, whispered, "What the hell just happened?" Elena made it to the service corridor before her hands started shaking. She pressed her palms against the concrete wall, forcing her breathing to slow. 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. 3 years. 3 years of patience, of planning, of becoming small and invisible and nothing. 3 years of scrubbing toilets and mopping floors and listening to men like Bradley Thornton call her trash. It was almost over. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Perimeter secure. Package confirmed in Suite 847. Colonel is asking for you. Says it's urgent." Elena typed back, "En route. 5 minutes." She looked at her reflection in a darkened window. 54 years old. Gray streaks in her black hair. Wrinkles around eyes that had seen things no human should see. The face of a grandmother. The soul of a warrior. David would be proud of her. The thought came unbidden, and with it the pain. Always the pain. Her son's face. His laugh. The way he'd called her mama, even at 24, even as a Marine Corps corporal, even in the last letter he'd written before a 7.62 round tore through his defective body armor and ended his life. "Te amo, mama. See you when I get home." He never came home. But tonight, after 3 years of darkness, Elena would finally bring him justice. She wiped her face, straightened her spine, and headed for Suite 847. Colonel James Whitmore answered the door before Elena could knock. 67 years old, silver hair cropped military short, eyes that had seen 3 wars and the face of evil more times than he could count. "Jesus Christ, Elena." He pulled her inside. "You're soaked. What happened?" Bradley Thornton decided to assert dominance. Elena moved past him toward the bathroom. "I may have responded more forcefully than planned." Define more forcefully. "He's still breathing. He still has both arms." "That's restraint coming from you." Elena grabbed a towel and began drying her hair. "Tell me about the documents, James." Whitmore's expression shifted. The grandfather disappeared. The colonel emerged. "Ghost Dog came through. We've got everything." He pulled a tablet from his briefcase. Falsified test results dating back 4 years. Quality control override signed by Bradley Thornton III. Financial records showing payments to 3 Pentagon procurement officers. And he paused. "Elena, we found the kill list." Elena stopped drying her hair. "The what?" They knew, Elena. They knew the ceramic plates would fail under sustained fire. They ran the numbers, calculated that a certain percentage of soldiers would die, deemed it acceptable loss compared to the cost of fixing the manufacturing defect. Elena's hands clenched. "How many?" Their projections estimated 43 fatalities over a 3-year period. Whitmore's voice was heavy. 19 confirmed so far, including... He couldn't finish. "Including David." Elena set down the towel. Her voice was calm, too calm. "They knew my son would die. They calculated it. They decided his life was worth less than their profit margin." "Elena." "Who else signed off, besides Bradley?" Whitmore handed her the tablet. CFO Margaret Holloway approved the budget modifications. Quality Control Director Thomas Reed falsified the test results. And 2 Pentagon officials, Colonel Richards and Captain Okonkwo, accepted bribes to overlook the defects during inspection. Elena scrolled through the documents. Every name, every signature, every dollar amount, every lie that led to her son's death. "When do we move?" "FBI is coordinating with NCIS. Arrests are scheduled for tomorrow night during the awards gala. Maximum media exposure, maximum humiliation. Elena shook her head. Bradley knows something is wrong. I pushed too hard tonight. He'll run. Let him run. The net is already in place. He won't just run James. Elena looked up. He'll destroy evidence. He'll warn his father. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Commander Vasquez. A voice she didn't recognize. Male, young, nervous. Who is this? My name is Marcus Webb, ma'am. I work for Maxwell Defense. Account executive. Elena's jaw tightened. I know who you are, Mr. Webb. You're the one who sent me to the executive lounge. Silence. Then, I'm sorry. I didn't know they were going to. I didn't think. What do you want, Mr. Webb? Bradley is making calls. I don't know who to, but he's scared. Really scared. He's talking about leaving the country tonight. About moving money. About, Marcus's voice cracked. About making the problem go away. Elena exchanged a look with Whitmore. What problem, Mr. Webb? I don't know, but he mentioned a name, someone he needs to handle before the gala. Marcus's breathing was ragged. He mentioned you, ma'am. He said the janitor isn't who she seems. He said she has to disappear. Elena's blood ran cold. Where is Bradley now? Presidential suite, 16th floor. He's got private security up there. Ex-military guys. 3 of them. Why are you telling me this, Mr. Webb? A long pause. When Marcus spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. Because my brother was one of the 19, ma'am. Staff Sergeant Michael Webb. He died in Djibouti 8 months ago. Body armor failed. His voice broke. Bradley sent flowers to the funeral. He shook my hand. He told me Michael was a hero. Elena closed her eyes. Mr. Webb, Marcus, listen to me carefully. I need you to stay away from Bradley Thornton. Do not approach him. Do not speak to him. In approximately 18 hours, federal agents will arrest him and everyone involved in your brother's death. You need to be patient. I can't just, you can and you will. Your brother would not want you in a prison cell. He would want you alive. He would want you to testify, to tell the world what Maxwell Defense did to him and 18 other American heroes. She paused. Can you do that, Marcus? Can you honor your brother by surviving? Silence. Then quietly, yes, ma'am. Good. Now go somewhere safe, somewhere Bradley doesn't know about, and wait. She ended the call. Whitmore was already on his phone. Ghost Dog, this is Eagle 6. We have a situation. Target is aware. Possible flight risk. Possible hostile action against primary asset. He listened. Understood. Accelerating timeline. Activate all units. He hung up and looked at Elena. The team is moving. We'll have eyes on Bradley within the hour. It won't be enough. Elena was already heading for the door. Bradley isn't his father. He's not a strategist. He's a scared animal, and scared animals do stupid, violent things. Where are you going? Elena paused at the door. Her eyes met Whitmore's. I'm going to finish what I started 3 years ago, James. One way or another, Bradley Thornton will face justice. Tonight. Elena, wait. But she was already gone. But the service elevator descended to the basement level. Elena's mind raced through scenarios, contingencies, escape routes. Bradley had 3 ex-military security guards. That meant professionals. Men who understood violence. Men who wouldn't hesitate. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Reaper. Ghost Dog says you've gone hot. The voice on the other end was calm, deliberate. 58 years old, but William Reaper Johnson could still put 3 rounds through a playing card at 200 yards. What do you need? Eyes on the presidential suite. I need to know Bradley's exact position and the disposition of his security detail. Already on it. Prophet tapped into the resort security cameras 10 minutes ago. Bradley is in the main living area, 2 guards inside with him. 3rd guard is doing roving patrol of the 16th floor. Weapons for his sidearms. Looks like Glock 19s. One of them has what might be a backup ankle piece. Elena stepped off the elevator into the basement storage area. She moved to a janitor's closet, unlocked it, and reached behind a stack of cleaning supplies. Her fingers found cold steel. "Duchess." "Here, Commander." A woman's voice. Calm, professional. CIA for 23 years before retirement. Now she ran catering operations at Blackstone Ridge. "I've got 3 exit routes confirmed. Vehicles standing by in the east garage." "Good. I need you to initiate Protocol 7. A pause. "Commander, Protocol 7 was designed for extraction, not assault." "I'm aware." "What exactly are you planning?" Elena pulled out the case behind the cleaning supplies and opened it. Inside a Sig Sauer P320, 3 magazines, a tactical knife, flex cuffs, and a small communications device. "I'm planning to arrest Bradley Thornton before he can destroy evidence or hurt anyone else. And if his security doesn't cooperate..." Elena loaded the magazine into the pistol. The sound was familiar, comforting, like coming home. "Then I'll remind them why the SEALs called me Phantom 6. Bradley Thornton paced the presidential suite like a caged animal. His wrist throbbed where the janitor, for God's sake, had nearly broken it. Who the hell was she? "Sir, you need to calm down." Derek Mitchell, head of his security detail, stood near the window. Ex-Army Ranger. 2 tours in Afghanistan. Not a man who spooked easily. But even Derek had noticed something wrong in Bradley's face. "Calm down, calm down." Bradley's voice cracked. She knew Derek. She knew about Djibouti. She knew about the plates. She knew about... He stopped. She knew everything. "So we find out who she is. We deal with it." "You don't understand." Bradley grabbed Derek's arm. "She said my father was being arrested in 12 hours. She said..." He stopped again, a new thought occurring to him. How did she know unless she's with them? The FBI, the investigators. "She's been here for 3 years, Derek. 3 years. Watching, listening, recording." Derek's expression didn't change, but his hand moved slightly closer to his weapon. "What do you want to do, sir?" "I want you to find her. I want you to bring her to me. I want to know exactly how much she knows and who she's told." And then... Bradley's eyes were wild, desperate. The eyes of a man who saw his entire world crumbling. "And then we make sure she can't tell anyone else." Derek nodded slowly. "Understood, sir." He pulled out his radio. "Team 2, this is Team Lead. New directive. Locate and detain the cleaning woman from the executive lounge. Latino female, mid-50s, approximately 5'4". Consider her potentially hostile and approach with caution." Static. Then, "Copy that, Team Lead. We're on it." Bradley slumped onto the couch. His hands were shaking. He reached for the whiskey bottle on the table and poured himself a generous measure. This is insane. A janitor. A goddamn janitor is going to bring down $1 billion company. Derek said nothing. But in his mind, something was beginning to form. Something about the way the woman had moved. The way she'd taken down Bradley without apparent effort. The way her eyes had never shown fear. He'd seen that look before, in the faces of operators. Real operators. The kind who didn't exist on any official roster. What the hell had Bradley gotten them into? Elena moved through the service corridors like a ghost. Her earpiece crackled. "Commander, this is Prophet. Security team is on the move. 2 of them heading toward the basement. Looks like they're searching for you." Acknowledged. "Bradley." Still in the suite. 1 guard remaining. "Good. Keep me updated." Elena reached a service stairwell and began climbing. 16 floors. No elevator too easy to trap. The stairs were narrow, poorly lit. Perfect. On the 4th floor landing, she heard footsteps above her. Heavy, purposeful, military. She pressed against the wall and waited. A figure emerged from the shadows. Male, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Hand resting on his holstered weapon. "Ma'am, is that you?" Elena didn't move. "I'm going to need you to come with me, ma'am. Mr. Thornton has some questions." Elena studied him. Young, late 20s. Ex-military, probably, but recent. Still had the posture, the haircut, the confidence of someone who thought combat experience made him invincible. He didn't know what real combat looked like. "I'm sorry," Elena said softly. "What's your name?" The guard blinked, surprised by the question. "Peters. Why?" "Because I want to know who to send the letter to Mr. Peters." when I explained to your family why their son is in federal custody for aiding and abetting a murder conspiracy. Peter's hand twitched toward his weapon. Lady, I don't know what. Bradley Thornton III is responsible for the deaths of 19 American Marines. His security team, your team, is about to help him escape justice. That makes you accessories. Elena's voice was calm, almost kind. You have a choice right now, Mr. Peters. Walk away, and I'll make sure the FBI knows you cooperated. Stay, and you'll spend the next 15 years in Leavenworth. Peters's face went pale. Who the hell are you? Elena stepped out of the shadows. Even soaked, disheveled, wearing a janitor's uniform, something in her presence made Peters take an involuntary step back. I'm the ghost that's been watching Bradley Thornton for 3 years. I'm the voice that's going to testify against him in federal court. And I'm the woman who's going to make sure every person involved in murdering those Marines faces justice. She took another step forward. Now, are you going to walk away, Mr. Peters? Or are you going to find out what happens when you stand between a mother and the men who killed her son? Peters stared at her. His hand dropped away from his weapon. I have a baby girl, he whispered. 6 months old. Then go home to her, and pray I never hear your name again. Peters moved past her down the stairs. His footsteps faded. Elena continued climbing. 13th floor. Her earpiece crackled again. Commander Second Guard just entered the stairwell 2 floors below you. He didn't get the message. Name. Running his face now. Derek Mitchell, ex-Army Ranger, 2 tours, multiple confirmed kills. This one's not going to back down. Elena smiled grimly. Good. I've been having too easy a night. She continued climbing. 14th floor, 15th. Footsteps below, moving fast. Derek wasn't being subtle. He knew she was here. Elena reached the 16th floor landing and stopped. She could continue up, draw him away from Bradley, or she could end this now. She chose the latter. The door to the 16th floor opened silently. The hallway was empty. Presidential suite at the far end. Elena moved. Behind her, the stairwell door burst open. Freeze! Elena dove forward, rolling behind a decorative pillar as Derek Mitchell's first shot splintered the wall where she'd been standing. Prophet, I'm engaged. 1 hostile on 16. Duchess is moving. 60 seconds. Elena drew her weapon and returned fire. Not to hit, just to suppress. The shot punched through the drywall near Derek's position. You're making a mistake, soldier, Elena shouted. Bradley Thornton is a murderer. Walk away. I don't know who you are, lady. Derek's voice echoed down the corridor. But you just assaulted my principal and fired on a security officer. That's 2 felonies. Put down your weapon. Your principal killed 19 Marines with defective body armor. That's conspiracy to commit murder. Who's the real criminal here, Ranger? Silence. Then Derek's voice different now. Prove it. Elena reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. She tossed it, still unlocked, into the middle of the hallway. Documents, photos, financial records, everything. Bradley Thornton knew those plates would fail. He signed the override himself. Long pause. Derek emerged from cover, weapon still raised but no longer aimed at her. He walked slowly toward the phone and picked it up. Elena watched him scroll, watched his face change, watched the soldier in him fight against the employee. My brother-in-law was in Djibouti, Derek said quietly. 2nd Marine Division. He came home in a box. What was his name? Corporal Ramirez. Antonio Ramirez. Elena's breath caught. I know that name. He was the 3rd death, May 15th last year. Derek looked up at her. His eyes were wet. Bradley Thornton killed your brother-in-law. Elena stood slowly, holstering her weapon. He knew the armor was defective. He chose profit over lives. And right now he's planning to escape the country with evidence that could put him away forever. Derek's jaw clenched. What do you need? Elena smiled. For the first time in 3 years, it reached her eyes. I need you to open that door and let me have a conversation with your former employer. Somehow. Bradley Thornton was mid-pour when the door to his suite opened. Derek, did you find? He dropped the whiskey bottle. It shattered on the marble floor. Elena Vasquez stood in the doorway. Behind her, Derek Mitchell held the door open. Derek, Derek! What the hell are you doing? My job, sir. Derek's voice was ice. Protecting people who matter. Elena stepped into the suite. Her soaked uniform had begun to dry. Her gray hair was wild. Her eyes. Bradley had seen those eyes before. In war movies. In nightmares. Stay back. He scrambled behind the couch. I'll scream. I'll security. Your security is standing behind me. Elena kept walking. Your other guards are being detained. Your father is being arrested as we speak. And you... She stopped 5 feet away. You are going to tell me everything. I don't know what you're talking about. 19 Marines, Bradley. 19 sons, 19 brothers, 19 fathers. Dead because you wanted a bigger bonus. She pulled out a photograph and held it up. This is my son, Corporal David Vasquez. He was 24 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. He died because the ceramic plate in his body armor, the plate your company manufactured, the plate you signed off on, shattered like glass when it should have saved his life. Bradley's face crumpled. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know they would actually... Don't lie to me. Elena's voice cut like a blade. You signed the override. You saw the test results. You knew the failure rate. You made a calculation how many dead soldiers versus how much money saved, and you decided their lives weren't worth it. It wasn't my call. My father... Your father is going to prison tonight. The question is whether you join him. Bradley fell back against the window. His hands were shaking. His face was slick with sweat. What do you want? Elena reached into her pocket and pulled out a recorder. She set it on the table between them. I want the truth, Bradley. All of it. Who knew? Who signed off? Who took the bribes? Every name, every date, every dollar. If I talk, they'll kill me. If you don't talk, you'll spend the rest of your life in a federal prison knowing that 19 families will never get justice because you were too much of a coward to give it to them. Bradley stared at the recorder, then at Elena, then at Derek, who stood motionless by the door. My father will never forgive me. Your father is a murderer. Elena's voice softened slightly. But you don't have to be. You can still choose differently, Bradley. You can still be something other than what he made you. Bradley's shoulders sagged. The arrogance that had defined him in the executive lounge was gone. What remained was something small, frightened, almost human. I was 28 when I signed the first override, he whispered. Same age as the Marines we killed. I told myself it was just paperwork, just numbers. Keep talking. My father brought me into his office, showed me the projections, told me that fixing the plates would cost $60 million and delay production by 8 months. He said, Bradley's voice cracked. He said some soldiers would die either way. That was war. That all we could do was minimize our losses. Your losses, not theirs. I know. Tears streamed down Bradley's face. I know. I've known for 4 years. Every time I see a flag-draped coffin on the news, I wonder if... He couldn't finish. Elena reached over and pressed record. Start from the beginning, Bradley. Everything you know. Everything you did. Everything your father did. Bradley Thornton III looked at the recorder. He looked at Elena. He looked at the photograph of Corporal David Vasquez still clutched in her hand. And then finally, he began to talk. 3 hours later, Elena walked out of the presidential suite. Her phone held a full confession. Names, dates, account numbers, everything. She stepped into the elevator and pressed the button for the lobby. Her phone buzzed. Text from Prophet: FBI is en route. ETA 15 minutes. All targets are contained. Elena leaned against the elevator wall and closed her eyes. 3 years. 1,096 days. And finally justice. Her phone buzzed again. This time a call. Unknown number. She answered. Commander Vasquez. A voice she didn't recognize. Female. Professional. Who is this? My name is Senator Williams. I understand you've had quite a night. Elena's eyes narrowed. How did you get this number? I have friends in interesting places, as do you, apparently. The senator paused. I've been following your work for some time, Commander. 3 years undercover as a janitor. Building a case that will bring down one of the largest defense contractors in the country. That takes patience, dedication, a very specific kind of moral clarity. What do you want, Senator? I want to offer you a job, a real job. Not cleaning toilets, not pretending to be invisible. Elena laughed. It was a hollow sound. I've had enough of government jobs, thank you. This wouldn't be a government job. Not exactly. What I'm proposing is something new, something that doesn't exist yet. The senator's voice dropped. There are a lot of companies like Maxwell Defense Commander, a lot of men like Bradley Thornton. They hide behind lawyers and lobbyists and layers of bureaucracy. The system is designed to protect them. And I want to create something that isn't part of the system, an independent unit. Investigators who answer to no corporate interest, who can go where the FBI can't, who can become invisible. Elena was silent. You've spent 3 years being invisible, Commander. You've seen how powerful that can be. Imagine what you could do with resources, with support, with a team. The elevator doors opened. Elena stepped into the lobby. Across the room, she saw FBI agents swarming through the front entrance. She saw Bradley Thornton being led out in handcuffs, his face streaked with tears. She saw Colonel Whitmore standing near the security desk, watching her with something like awe. I'll think about it, Senator. That's all I ask, for now. The line went dead. Elena pocketed her phone and walked toward Whitmore. Around her, the chaos continued. Agents shouting orders, executives being herded into groups, reporters already gathering outside. But Elena didn't see any of it. All she saw was David's face, smiling, proud, at peace. We did it, mijo, she whispered. We did it. And somewhere in a place beyond pain, she could almost hear him answer, I knew you would, Mama. I never doubted you for a second. The FBI vehicles had barely cleared the resort driveway when Elena's phone exploded with notifications. Colonel Whitmore found her in the service corridor, still wearing her soaked janitor's uniform. His face was grave. We have a problem. Elena looked up from her phone. The video. It's everywhere. 2 million views in the last hour, climbing fast. Whitmore held up his tablet. Megan Price uploaded it before the arrests. Some media outlet picked it up, ran it with the headline, Executive Humiliates Elderly Janitor. It's gone viral. Elena scrolled through the comments. Most were outraged people calling for Bradley's head, demanding Maxwell Defense be shut down. But scattered among them, she found what she feared. Read this one, she said quietly. Whitmore leaned in. Zoom in at 2:47. Watch her hands when he grabs her. That's not a civilian reaction. That's muscle memory. Someone trained this woman. He scrolled down. Former DevGru here. I know that stance. I know that look. Who the hell is this janitor? And this one. Elena pointed. Check her forearms. Those aren't cleaning lady muscles. Those are operator muscles. Someone dig into this woman's background. Whitmore's jaw tightened. Your cover is blown. My cover was blown the moment I put Bradley on his knees. Elena pocketed her phone. The question is whether it matters anymore. It matters if there are more players we haven't identified. Whitmore grabbed her arm. Elena, Bradley was the tip of the iceberg. His father is in custody, but the network goes deeper. Pentagon officials, foreign contractors, people who won't go quietly. I know. Do you? Because right now your face is on every screen in America. Anyone who wants to find you, anyone who wants to silence you before you can testify now knows exactly what you look like. Elena met his eyes. Then we move faster. Where's my team? Duchess is securing the evidence package. Prophet is monitoring communications. Reaper is... Whitmore paused. Reaper is doing what Reaper does, which is watching your back from somewhere I don't want to know about. Elena almost smiled. Almost. Her earpiece crackled. Commander, this is Prophet. We've got incoming traffic on Bradley's encrypted channels. Someone's still communicating. Bradley is in FBI custody. Not Bradley. Someone else. Someone using his network. Prophet's voice was tense. They're talking about you, Commander. They know your name. Your real name. Elena's blood went cold. How? I don't know. But they're mobilizing something. I'm seeing references to a cleanup crew, arrival time approximately 4 hours. Elena looked at Whitmore. We need to move. Now. Where? Somewhere they won't expect. She started walking. Call Duchess. Tell her to bring everything to the secondary location. And James? She paused. Tell her to bring the Djibouti files. All of them. Elena, what are you planning? I'm planning to find out just how deep this rabbit hole goes. She disappeared into the service corridor. Whitmore stared after her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call. Duchess, it's Eagle 6. Commander is going hot. Protocol Omega. Yes, I know what that means. Do it anyway. He hung up and whispered a prayer he hadn't used since Fallujah. The secondary location was a storage facility 30 miles outside the city. Elena had rented it 3 years ago under an assumed name, paying cash, leaving no trail. When she arrived, Duchess was already there. Catherine Duchess Morrison looked nothing like a CIA analyst. 52 years old, she had the face of a kindergarten teacher and the mind of a chess grandmaster. She'd spent 23 years in Langley running networks that officially didn't exist. Now she ran catering operations at resorts and planned operations that would never appear in any report. You look terrible, Duchess said as Elena entered. I've been waterboarded by a trust fund baby. It was surprisingly unpleasant. I saw the video. Duchess handed her a coffee. You showed remarkable restraint. I showed stupidity. I should have stayed invisible. You couldn't. He grabbed you. Your training kicked in. Duchess shrugged. It happens to the best of us. Elena took the coffee and sat on a metal folding chair. Around her, boxes of evidence lined the walls. 3 years of photographs, documents, recordings. Everything she'd gathered during her time as Maxwell's invisible janitor. Prophet says someone is using Bradley's encrypted network. I heard. Duchess pulled up a laptop. I've been tracking the traffic. It's sophisticated. Military-grade encryption. Whoever this is, they're not amateurs. Any idea who? Duchess hesitated. I have a theory, but you're not going to like it. Tell me anyway. The communication patterns match protocols I saw at Langley. Specifically protocols used by a joint task force that was disbanded in 2019. Duchess turned the laptop toward Elena. Task Force Cerberus. Ring any bells? Elena's face went pale. That's impossible. Cerberus was shut down. Everyone involved was either retired or reassigned. Everyone except one person. Duchess pulled up a photograph. A man's face filled the screen. Hard eyes, military bearing, a scar running from his left ear to his jaw. Colonel Marcus Stone, Elena whispered. Your former commanding officer. Duchess's voice was careful. The man who recruited you into the SEALs. The man who, I know who he is. Elena's hands were shaking. She set down the coffee. Stone was discharged in 2018. Conduct unbecoming. They said he'd gone off the grid. He did. But off the grid doesn't mean inactive. Duchess clicked through several documents. For the past 5 years, Stone has been running a private military contractor called Prometheus Solutions. On paper, they provide security consulting to multinational corporations. In reality, they're a kill team. Among other things. Duchess leaned back. Elena Stone's client list includes Maxwell Defense. He's been on their payroll since 2020. The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. Stone knew. He knew about the defective armor. He might have even helped cover it up. It's worse than that. Duchess pulled up another document. This is a shipping manifest from 18 months ago. Prometheus Solutions transported 6 crates of ceramic body armor plates from a Maxwell facility in Virginia to a testing ground in Nevada. The plates were destroyed in a controlled demolition exercise 3 days before the Pentagon inspection. They destroyed the evidence. They destroyed the defective plates, the ones that would have proven the failure rate. Duchess met Elena's eyes. Stone didn't just know about the cover-up, Elena. He orchestrated it. Elena stood abruptly. Her chair scraped against the concrete floor. Where is he now? That's the problem. We don't know. Prometheus Solutions has offices in 12 countries. Stone moves constantly. He's a ghost. Then we find him. Elena. He was my mentor, Kath. Elena's voice cracked. He taught me everything. He told me the seals were about honor, about protecting the innocent. He stood at David's grave and told me my son was a hero. Her hands balled into fists. And the whole time he was part of the machine that killed him. Duchess stood and placed a hand on Elena's shoulder. We'll find him. But we have to be smart about this. Stone knows how you think. He trained you. If you go after him blind, he'll see me coming. Elena exhaled slowly. You're right. I need to think. The door to the storage unit opened. William Reaper Johnson stepped inside, his weathered face grim. We've got company, he said. Elena's hand moved to her weapon. Where? 3 SUVs parked at the gas station half a mile up the road. Blackout windows. Virginia plates. They've been there for 20 minutes. Stone's people. Probably. They're not moving yet, which means they're waiting for something. Reaper pulled out a tablet and showed her a satellite image. I've got Prophet running the plates now. Should have an ID and... His earpiece crackled. His face changed. Say again, Prophet. Elena watched him listen, watched the color drain from his face. Copy. Keep eyes on. We're moving. He looked at Elena. The plates came back. Those vehicles are registered to the FBI. The FBI, Elena frowned. That doesn't make sense. The FBI is on our side. Are they? Reaper's voice was flat. Prophet just intercepted a communication between one of those vehicles and an unknown party. The message was simple. Package confirmed. Awaiting extraction orders. Package? You, Commander. You're the package. Elena's mind raced. Stone has people inside the FBI. Or the FBI has been compromised from the start. Duchess was already packing her laptop. Either way, we can't stay here. We can't run either. Elena grabbed a box of files. These documents are the only leverage we have. If Stone gets them, then 19 deaths become officially unsolved and everyone responsible walks free. Reaper moved to the back of the storage unit. I've got an exit route. Drainage tunnel leads to an access road quarter-mile south. Vehicle is waiting. Elena looked at her team. 3 people. 3 warriors who'd given up their comfortable retirements to help her chase justice. They'd followed her into the shadows. They'd trusted her with their lives. She couldn't let them down. Move the files to the vehicle. Take the secondary route to the courthouse. There's a federal judge there who owes me a favor. If we can get the evidence into his hands... Elena. Duchess's voice stopped her. The judge. Patricia Holloway. She's Margaret Holloway's sister. Margaret Holloway. The CFO we just had arrested. The same. Whatever favor you think she owes you, she owes her sister more. Elena closed her eyes. Every path was blocked. Every ally was suspect. Every move she made, Stone was already 3 steps ahead. Then we go to the media. The media is running the viral video story. You're famous, but you're famous as a victim. The moment you come forward as an undercover operative, the narrative shifts. Stone's people will spin it. They'll say you entrapped Bradley. They'll say the evidence was planted. They'll make me the villain. Elena opened her eyes. Fine, let them try. Elena, I spent 3 years being invisible. I spent 3 years letting men like Bradley Thornton treat me like garbage because I knew that one day I would stand in a courtroom and watch them answer for what they did. Her voice rose. My son is dead, Kath. 19 boys are dead. And the man who trained me to be a warrior used that training to help cover up their murders. She grabbed the box of files and headed for the exit. I'm done hiding. I'm done being patient. If Stone wants a war, I'll give him a war. Reaper fell into step beside her. What's the play, Commander? We go public, not as victims, as hunters. We release everything. The documents, the recordings, the confession. We blow this story so wide open that Stone can't bury it, no matter how many FBI agents he owns. That's suicide. Maybe. Elena pushed open the door. But it's also the last thing he'll expect. The drainage tunnel was narrow and dark. Elena moved through it by memory, her team close behind. Reaper's voice came from the darkness. Prophet confirms the FBI vehicles are moving. They're heading toward the storage facility. How long? 5 minutes, maybe less. Elena picked up the pace. Everyone got their documents. 3 voices confirmed. When we reach the vehicle, we split up. Duchess, you take the financial records to the Times. Ask for Sarah Chen. She's been investigating defense contractors for years. Tell her everything. And if she doesn't believe me, show her the kill list, the one that calculated how many soldiers would die. That's not something anyone can fake. Copy. Reaper, you take the Pentagon files. There's a whistleblower organization in D.C., Veterans for Truth. They've been trying to expose procurement corruption for a decade. Give them ammunition. And you, Elena's jaw tightened. I'm going to find Marcus Stone. Alone. He won't expect me to come to him. That's my advantage. Duchess grabbed her arm, pulling her to a stop. Elena, this is insane. Stone has resources, men, weapons. You're one person. I'm not just one person. Elena met her eyes in the dim light. I'm the ghost he created. I'm every dirty trick he ever taught me. And I'm the mother of a boy he helped murder. She pulled free. Stone thinks he knows me. He's wrong. The woman he trained died 4 years ago. What's left? Her voice hardened. What's left is something he's never seen before. She kept moving. Behind her, Duchess and Reaper exchanged a look. She's going to get herself killed, Duchess whispered. Probably. Reaper agreed. But I've seen that look before. In Kandahar, in Mosul, in every hellhole where she went in alone and came out standing over the bodies of men who thought they could stop her. He started walking again. Stone should be scared, because the commander isn't hunting him for justice anymore. Then what is she hunting him for? Reaper's answer was simple and cold. Blood. The exit point was a concrete drainage grate that opened onto a dirt road. A van waited there, engine running. Prophet's voice crackled through Elena's earpiece as she climbed out. Commander, I've got something. Stone's communications just went dark. All of them. Every channel, every network. He knows we're onto him. Can you track his last known location? Working on it. But Commander, there's something else. Before he went dark, there was a burst transmission. Heavily encrypted. I'm still decoding it, but I caught one phrase in the clear. What phrase? Prophet hesitated. Activate Phoenix Protocol. Elena stopped moving. Her blood turned to ice. Say again. Phoenix Protocol. Does that mean something to you? It meant everything. Phoenix Protocol was a contingency plan Stone had developed during their time in Task Force Cerberus. A last resort. A scorched earth option designed to eliminate every witness, every document, every trace of an operation's existence. Prophet, where was that transmission sent? Multiple recipients. I'm tracking them now. One is in Virginia, one is in Nevada, one is... His voice caught. Commander, one is in Djibouti. Djibouti. The Marine base where the armor failures happened. There are still soldiers there. Soldiers who survived attacks. Soldiers who might be able to testify about the defective plates. Elena's mind raced. He's eliminating witnesses. Every survivor who could corroborate our evidence. That's not all. Prophet's typing was frantic. I'm seeing movement orders. Private aircraft. 3 different locations. Stone isn't just eliminating witnesses, he's extracting his own people. Everyone connected to the cover-up is being pulled out. How long do we have? Based on flight times, 12 hours. Maybe less. Elena turned to her team. Change of plans. We don't have time for media. We don't have time for whistleblowers. Stone is going to destroy everything. Then what do we do? Duchess asked. Elena's eyes were cold, focused. The eyes of a hunter who finally saw her prey. We stop him, whatever it takes. She climbed into the van. Reaper, get me everything we have on Prometheus Solutions, every facility, every employee, every asset. That could take hours. You have 30 minutes. Elena. 30 minutes. William. My son doesn't have longer than that. Reaper didn't argue. He understood. This wasn't about evidence anymore. This wasn't about trials and courtrooms and justice systems that could be corrupted. This was war. And Commander Elena Vasquez had never lost a war. The van sped through the darkness. Elena sat in the back, surrounded by boxes of evidence phone pressed to her ear. Senator Williams, this is Elena Vasquez. Commander, the senator's voice was alert despite the late hour. I heard about the situation at the storage facility. Are you safe? For now, but I need your help. Name it. Marcus Stone, former colonel, runs a company called Prometheus Solutions. I need to know everything your office has on him. A pause. Stone is a sensitive subject, Commander. His company has contracts with half a dozen government agencies. Trying to investigate him would require... He's part of the cover-up senator. He helped destroy evidence. He's currently executing a protocol designed to eliminate every witness to the body armor scandal. Elena's voice was steel. I don't care how sensitive he is. I need information, and I need it now. Another pause. Longer this time. There's a file, the senator said finally. Classified. Eyes only. It contains everything we know about Stone's activities since his discharge, including some things that would end careers if they became public. Can you get it to me? I can try. But Commander, this file exists because Stone has enemies. Powerful enemies who want to take him down for their own reasons. If you use this information, you'll be making deals with devils. I've been making deals with devils for 3 years. Elena watched the darkness fly past outside the window. One more won't make a difference. I'll have the file sent to a secure server within the hour. But Elena... The senator's voice softened. Be careful. Stone isn't like Bradley Thornton. He doesn't panic. He doesn't make mistakes. He's survived this long because he's always 3 moves ahead. So have I, Senator. I know. That's what worries me. The line went dead. Elena lowered the phone and closed her eyes. Somewhere out there, Marcus Stone was moving his chess pieces, eliminating threats, covering tracks, preparing for a battle he thought he'd already won. He was wrong. Because Elena had one advantage Stone didn't know about. One card she hadn't played. One secret she'd kept even from her own team. She wasn't alone. David had told her in his final letter. He'd suspected something was wrong with the equipment. He'd filed a report. And that report had gone to someone inside the military who had promised to investigate. Elena had spent 3 years trying to find that person. 3 years chasing dead ends and false leads. But last week, finally, she'd found a name that changed everything. A name that connected Marcus Stone to something far bigger than body armor contracts. A name that, if Elena was right, would bring down not just Stone, but the entire network he served. She pulled out her phone and typed a message to a number she'd memorized but never used. I know who you are. I know what you did for my son. We need to meet. She hit send and waited for the response that would either save her mission or end her life. The response came 17 minutes later. Elena stared at her phone, her heart pounding against her ribs. 3 words. Just 3 words that changed everything. Arlington, sunrise, alone. Duchess leaned over her shoulder. Who is that? I don't know yet. Elena deleted the message. But I'm going to find out. Arlington, as in the cemetery. As in where my son is buried. Elena's voice was hollow. Whoever this person is, they know exactly how to get my attention. Reaper looked up from his tablet. Commander, this could be a trap. Stone knows about David. He knows about your connection to Arlington. If he's using that against you, then I'll deal with it when I get there. Elena checked her weapon. What did you find on Prometheus Solutions? 12 facilities worldwide. Headquarters in Virginia, about 40 miles from here. Secondary operations in Nevada, Germany, and Dubai. Reaper scrolled through the data. Stone has approximately 200 employees on the books. Ex-military, most of them. The kind of people who don't ask questions and don't leave witnesses. Security protocols. State-of-the-art. Biometric access. Armed guards. Surveillance covering every inch. He looked at her. You're not getting in there without an army commander. I don't need to get in. I need to draw him out. How? Elena pulled up the viral video on her phone. The image of Bradley Thornton throwing dirty water in her face had been viewed over 8 million times now. Comments were still pouring in. The world was watching. Stone's entire operation depends on secrecy. The moment he's exposed, his clients disappear. His contracts evaporate. Everything he's built collapses. She looked at her team. So we expose him, not through back channels, not through whistleblowers. We put his face on every screen in America and tell the world exactly who he is. That's suicide. Maybe. But it's also the one thing he can't defend against. Elena stood. Duchess, I need you to compile everything we have on Stone. Every connection, every contract, every body he's buried. Make it bulletproof. And then we give it to the one person Stone can't silence. Elena's eyes hardened. The American people. Prophet's voice crackled through the earpiece. Commander, we have movement. The FBI vehicles left the storage facility. They're heading northeast. Toward us. Negative. They're heading toward Blackstone Ridge Resort. Looks like they're going back to the scene. Elena frowned. Why would they? Her phone rang. Unknown number, she answered. Commander Vasquez. A voice she hadn't heard in 6 years. Deep. Controlled. Familiar as her own heartbeat. Marcus Stone. Hello, Elena. Elena's grip tightened on the phone. Her team watched her face change, watched the warrior emerge from behind the mother's grief. Marcus. I wondered how long it would take you to find me. Stone's voice was almost warm, almost proud. 3 years. Impressive even by your standards. You knew I was at Maxwell. Of course I knew. I've known since the day you applied for that janitor position. A soft laugh. Did you really think you could move through my territory without me noticing? Then why didn't you stop me? Because I wanted to see how far you'd go. How much you'd sacrifice. Whether the woman I trained still had what it takes. Stone paused. You exceeded my expectations, Elena. You always did. You helped kill my son. Silence. When Stone spoke again, his voice was different, harder. David's death was a tragedy. But it wasn't murder. It was war. Equipment fails. Soldiers die. That's the reality of combat. Equipment fails when people like you falsify test results and destroy evidence. Elena's voice shook with rage. You knew those plates were defective. You knew soldiers would die. And you covered it up anyway. I protected national security. You protected profit margins. Same thing, Elena. This country runs on money. Defense contractors keep our military supplied. If Maxwell went down, a dozen programs would collapse. Thousands of jobs would disappear. The soldiers you're trying to avenge would have no equipment at all. So you calculated their lives, decided some of them were acceptable losses. I made hard decisions, the kind you've made 100 times in the field. Stone's voice hardened further. Don't pretend you're any different. I taught you how to kill Elena. I taught you how to weigh lives. How many targets did you eliminate because someone above your pay grade decided they were expendable? Elena closed her eyes. The faces flashed through her memory. Kandahar, Mosul, the ghost of Fallujah, men she'd killed because her orders said they needed to die. That was different. Was it, we both served the same masters, Elena? The difference is, I stopped pretending those masters were righteous. I'm not having this conversation with you. Then why did you answer the phone? Elena opened her eyes. Because I wanted you to know something, Marcus. I wanted you to hear it directly from me. What's that? I'm coming for you. Not tonight, not tomorrow, but soon. And when I find you, when I finally have you in front of me, I'm going to make you answer for every life your corruption has destroyed. Stone laughed. Actually laughed. Elena, you think I'm afraid of you. I made you. Every skill you have, every instinct, every weapon in your arsenal, they all came from me. His voice dropped to a whisper. You can't defeat me. You can only become me. Watch me. I intend to, but in the meantime, let me give you some advice. Stone's tone shifted, almost gentle now. Walk away. Take your team. Disappear. I'll make sure no one follows you. You can live out your days in peace, knowing that you tried, that you fought the good fight. And if I don't, then I'll destroy everything you love, your team, your reputation, your son's memory. Stone paused. Did you know there's a sealed file at the Pentagon David's psychological evaluation from 6 months before his deployment? Some concerning notes about instability, paranoid ideation, the kind of thing that might explain why a troubled young Marine filed false reports about equipment defects. Elena's blood turned to ice. You wouldn't. I would, and I will, unless you walk away. Stone's voice was steel. You have until sunrise to decide. After that, your son becomes a cautionary tale instead of a hero. Your choice, Elena. The line went dead. Elena stood motionless. Her hands were shaking. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Duchess touched her arm. Elena, what did he say? He's going to destroy David. Elena's voice broke. He's going to fabricate evidence that my son was mentally unstable, that his report about the equipment was delusional, that... She couldn't finish. Reaper stepped forward. Commander, look at me. Elena raised her eyes. Tears streamed down her face. Stone is trying to break you. That's what he does. He finds the thing you love most and threatens to take it away. Reaper's voice was steady, certain. But he's also scared. You can hear it. If he wasn't scared, he wouldn't have called. He would have just acted. He's right. Prophet's voice came through the earpiece. I've been monitoring Stone's communications since the call started. He's burning resources, moving assets. He's not acting like a man who's winning. He's acting like a man who's cornered. Elena wiped her face. What do you mean? His network is fragmenting. 3 of his clients terminated contracts in the last 2 hours. 2 of his senior operatives just booked flights out of the country. Prophet paused. And there's something else. The burst transmission he sent earlier, the one activating Phoenix Protocol, it was intercepted. By who? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But whoever it was, they have resources, military resources, the kind that don't show up on any official roster. Elena's mind raced. Someone else is hunting Stone. Looks like it, and based on the intercept patterns, they're close. Very close. Elena looked at her team. Duchess, Reaper, 2 warriors who'd followed her into the darkness without question. We're not alone in this fight, she said slowly. Stone has other enemies, people who want him gone as much as we do. That could be good or bad, Duchess cautioned. Enemy of my enemy isn't always my friend. No, but right now I'll take any ally I can get. Elena checked her watch. I'm going to Arlington. Whoever sent that message knows something important enough to risk contact. I'm coming with you. No, I go alone. That was the condition. Elena. If this is a trap, you need to survive. You need to get the evidence out. Promise me, Kath. Promise me that no matter what happens to me, those documents see the light of day. Duchess's jaw tightened. I promise. Reaper, keep eyes on Prometheus headquarters. If Stone makes a move, I want to know about it. Copy that, Commander. Elena moved toward the van's door. Then she stopped. There's something I never told you, she said quietly. About David. About why I'm really doing this. Her team waited. The day before he deployed, David came to me. He was scared. Not of combat, he was always brave about that. He was scared of something else. Something he'd discovered. Elena's voice trembled. He told me he'd found evidence of corruption. Contractors cutting corners. Equipment that would fail. He said he'd filed a report, but no one would listen. She turned to face them. He asked me what to do, And I told him, God help me. I told him to trust the system. I told him that the military would investigate, that the truth would come out. Tears fell. And then he went to Djibouti, and the truth killed him. Duchess moved to embrace her, but Elena held up a hand. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you because I need you to understand what this is really about. Her voice hardened. I'm not hunting Stone for revenge. I'm hunting him because I failed my son. I told him to trust a system that was built to protect men like Stone. And now, she steadied herself. Now I'm going to burn that system to the ground. She opened the van door and stepped into the darkness. Elena, Reaper's voice stopped her. Be careful. Stone knows you're coming. He'll have contingencies. I know. Elena looked back. But so do I. She disappeared into the night. Arlington National Cemetery was silent at dawn. Row after row of white headstones stretched across the rolling hills, each one marking a life given in service. A nation's debt carved in marble. Elena walked alone. Her footsteps were soft on the dew-wet grass. Her eyes moved constantly scanning for threats, but her heart was focused on one destination: David's grave. She found it in Section 60 among the fallen from recent conflicts. The headstone was simple: white marble, gold lettering, CPL. David Vasquez, United States Marine Corps, beloved son, Semper Fidelis. Elena knelt. Her fingers traced the carved letters. I'm close, mijo, she whispered. So close. By tonight, everyone will know what they did to you, what they did to all of you. The sunrise painted the sky in shades of orange and gold. Somewhere a bird sang. I miss you every day, every hour. I see your face when I close my eyes. I hear your voice when the world goes quiet. Her voice broke. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. I'm sorry I told you to trust them. I'm sorry. He knew you loved him. Elena spun her hand, moving toward her weapon. A woman stood 10 feet away. Late 50s. Silver hair pulled back severely. Military bearing despite the civilian clothes. Eyes that had seen war. Who are you? My name is Admiral Patricia Chen. The woman didn't move. I'm the person your son trusted with his report. Elena's breath caught. You were investigating Maxwell. I was, until I was ordered to stop. Admiral Chen stepped closer. David came to me 8 days before he died. He had evidence, solid evidence that Maxwell Defense was shipping defective equipment. He wanted to go public. I told him to wait. I told him I would handle it through channels. And then he died. And then he died. Chen's voice carried infinite regret. I've spent 4 years living with that failure, Commander. 4 years trying to finish what your son started. Why didn't you come forward? Why didn't you tell someone? I tried. The investigation was shut down from above. My evidence was classified. My witnesses were transferred, retired, or... She paused. Silenced. Stone's network is everywhere, Commander. Pentagon, Congress, intelligence agencies. Everyone who tried to expose him was destroyed. So you've been hiding. I've been waiting. Chen pulled out a phone. For someone like you, someone Stone couldn't buy, someone who wouldn't stop, someone who loved David enough to burn everything down. How do you know I won't betray you? How do you know I'm not working with Stone? Chen smiled sadly. Because I watched you clean toilets for 3 years, Commander. I watched you let Bradley Thornton humiliate you. I watched you sacrifice your dignity, your pride, everything you were all for a chance at justice. She met Elena's eyes. That kind of commitment can't be faked. You've been watching me since the day you arrived at Maxwell. Chen held up the phone. I have a network too, Commander. Smaller than Stone's, less powerful, but just as dedicated. Elena stared at her. The intercepts. Prophet said someone was hunting Stone. That was you. My people, yes. We've been building a case against him for years, but we never had enough. Stone is careful, paranoid. He leaves no loose ends. Chen stepped closer. Until now, Your work at Maxwell, the documents you gathered, the confession you extracted from Bradley, it's the missing piece. Combined with what I have, it's enough to bring Stone down. What do you have? Communications, financial records, testimony from 3 former Prometheus operatives who are willing to talk. Chen's voice hardened. And something else. Something Stone doesn't know I have. What? Video. From the night David was killed. Chen pulled up a file on her phone. Stone wasn't just covering up the equipment failures, Commander. He was using them. Elena's blood ran cold. What do you mean? The defective plates weren't accidents. They were targeted. Specific soldiers received compromised equipment, soldiers who had discovered things, soldiers who had filed reports, soldiers who were threats. Elena's voice was barely a whisper. David wasn't collateral damage. He was murdered. Yes. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Stone knew about David's report. He knew your son was going to blow the whistle, so he made sure David's equipment would fail. Chen's voice was gentle now. I'm sorry, Elena. I'm so sorry. Elena's legs gave out. She sank to her knees beside her son's grave. He was targeted. Stone specifically. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. He murdered my son. Yes. The grief hit her like a physical blow. All these years she'd believed David died because of corporate greed, because of laziness, because someone wanted a bigger bonus and didn't care who got hurt. But this was worse. This was so much worse. David hadn't died by accident. He'd been assassinated, executed, murdered by the man Elena had trusted most in the world. I'll kill him. The words came out flat. Dead. I'll tear him apart with my bare hands. No. Chen knelt beside her. That's what he expects. That's what he wants. If you go after him blind, if you let rage drive you, he'll win. I don't care. You have to care. Chen grabbed her shoulders. Elena, listen to me. Stone has been preparing for this moment for years. He has contingencies, fail-safes. The moment you attack him directly, he disappears. The evidence vanishes. The witnesses die. And your son's murder goes unavenged forever. Elena looked at her. Tears streamed down her face. Her whole body shook. Then what do I do? You do what you've always done. You plan. You prepare. You wait for the perfect moment. Chen's grip tightened. Stone called you, didn't he? He threatened David's memory. He's trying to force your hand because he's scared. Use that fear. Let him think he's winning while we position our pieces. I can't just wait. Not now. Not knowing what he did. You can, because you're Commander Elena Vasquez. Because you've spent 30 years learning how to channel pain into purpose. Because your son believed in you enough to trust you with his final mission. Chen's voice dropped. And because if you die tonight, Stone wins. David dies for nothing. And 19 families never get justice. Elena closed her eyes. She thought of David's face, his smile, his voice. Te amo, mama. See you when I get home. He'd trusted her. Even at the end, even knowing the danger, he'd trusted her. She couldn't betray that trust. Not now. Not ever. What's your plan? Elena's voice was hoarse, broken, but steady. Chen helped her to her feet. Tonight is the Maxwell Defense Awards Gala. Stone will be there. He's receiving a Distinguished Service Award from the company he's been protecting for years. He's bold. He's arrogant. He thinks he's untouchable. Chen pulled up another file. But I've arranged a little surprise. A reporter from the Washington Post will be attending. She has everything. My files, your files, the video of David's death. At exactly 9 p.m., the story goes live. Stone will see it coming. Not if he's distracted. Chen met her eyes. That's where you come in, Commander. I need you at that gala. Not as a janitor, not as a ghost, as yourself. As Commander Elena Vasquez, Navy SEAL. As the mother who brought down Bradley Thornton. You want me to be bait. I want you to be a symbol. The story the reporter is running isn't just about Stone. It's about you, the viral video, The undercover investigation, the mother seeking justice. By tonight, you'll be the most famous woman in America. Elena understood. If I'm in the spotlight, Stone can't move against me. Not without exposing himself. Exactly. He'll have to sit there and watch as his empire crumbles. He'll have to smile for the cameras while the world learns the truth about who he is. And after... Chen's expression hardened. After he runs, he'll try to disappear like he always does. But this time we'll be ready. My people have tracked his escape routes, his safe houses, his emergency protocols. You're going to catch him. We're going to catch him. Together. Chen extended her hand. What do you say, Commander, ready to finish what your son started? Elena looked at the hand, then at David's grave, then at the sunrise painting the sky in colors her son would never see again. She took Chen's hand. I'm ready. The ride back was silent. Elena sat in Chen's vehicle staring at the video on the Admiral's phone. David. Her David. In his final moments. The footage was grainy, captured from a surveillance drone. It showed a firefight in a dusty compound, Marines taking cover, muzzle flashes in the darkness, and then David rising from cover to help a wounded comrade. A burst of enemy fire, the impact against his chest armor that should have stopped the rounds, the plate shattering, David falling. Elena watched herself die with him. I've seen enough. Chen took back the phone. That video proves deliberate sabotage. The specific plate that failed was from a batch flagged for destruction. It should never have reached the field. Someone switched the serial numbers. Stone. Or someone working for him. We're still identifying the supply chain. Chen's voice softened. Elena, I know this is hell, but you need to stay focused. Tonight matters more than anything we've done so far. I'm focused. Elena's voice was ice. I've never been more focused in my life. Her phone buzzed. Text from Prophet, situation developing. Stone just arrived at Prometheus headquarters. He's mobilizing the entire security team. Elena showed Chen the message. He's preparing, Chen said. He knows something is coming. Can he stop the story? Not at this point. The Post has the files. Their legal team has verified everything. The story runs tonight regardless of what Stone does. Then what is he preparing for? Chen was quiet for a moment. Then, you. He's preparing for you. Elena's jaw tightened. Good. Let him prepare. Let him spend every resource. Let him exhaust every option. She looked at Chen. Because when that story drops, when the world sees what he really is, all those preparations won't mean a thing. You sound confident. I am. Elena leaned back. Stone taught me everything I know about warfare. But he forgot one thing. What's that? The student eventually surpasses the master. Elena closed her eyes. Tonight, I'm going to show him exactly how much I learned. The vehicle sped toward the city, toward the gala, toward the final confrontation 3 years in the making. And somewhere in a grave marked by white marble and gold lettering, Corporal David Vasquez rested easier knowing his mother was about to burn the world that killed him. The grand ballroom of the Willard Hotel had never seen anything like her. Elena Vasquez walked through the entrance at precisely 8:47 p.m., not in a janitor's uniform, not in tactical gear. In a simple black dress that Admiral Chen had provided, her gray-streaked hair pulled back, her posture straight as a blade. The room fell silent. 8 million people had watched the viral video. They'd seen her face covered in dirty water. They'd seen her kneel before Bradley Thornton. They'd seen her humiliation broadcast across every screen in America. Now they saw her walk into their sanctuary like she owned it. That's her, someone whispered. The janitor. She's here after what happened. Security. Someone call security. Elena kept walking. Her eyes scanned the room, cataloging faces, exits, threats. 300 guests in formal attire. Waiters circulating with champagne. A stage at the far end where the awards would be presented. And there, standing near the bar, surrounded by admirers, Marcus Stone. Their eyes met. Stone's expression didn't change. He raised his champagne glass in a small salute. Elena smiled. Ma'am, A security guard appeared at her elbow, young, nervous. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to leave. You're not on the guest list." "Actually, she is." Admiral Chen materialized beside them, her navy dress whites immaculate. "Commander Vasquez is my +1. Is there a problem?" The guard's face went pale. Admiral Chen. I wasn't told. Now you know. Run along." The guard retreated. Chen took Elena's arm and guided her deeper into the room. "Stone hasn't moved," Chen murmured. "He's waiting to see what you do." "Let him wait." Elena grabbed a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. "Where's the reporter?" Sarah Chen, no relation, is positioned near the press area. She's ready to go live the moment the story drops. "And your people, in position." 6 operatives scattered throughout the room. If Stone tries to run, he won't get far. Elena checked her watch. 8:51 p.m. 9 minutes until everything changed. "I want to talk to him." "Elena, I need to look him in the eyes, Patricia. I need him to know that I know." Elena's voice was steady. "I need him to see what he created." Chen hesitated, then nodded. "Be careful. Stone is desperate. Desperate men do unpredictable things." "I'm counting on it." Elena crossed the room. Conversation stopped as she passed. Phones came out. By tomorrow, every news outlet in America would have footage of this moment. "Good. Let them watch." Stone saw her coming. He excused himself from his admirers and stepped forward to meet her, positioning them in a quiet corner away from curious ears. "Commander Vasquez." His voice was warm, welcoming, a predator's greeting. "You look considerably drier than the last time I saw you on video. And you look considerably more nervous than the last time we spoke on the phone." Something flickered in Stone's eyes, quickly hidden. "I'm never nervous, Elena. You know that." "I know you're a liar. I know you're a murderer." Elena kept her voice low. "And I know you're about to lose everything." "Is that so?" 8 minutes, Marcus. That's how long you have before the Washington Post publishes a story that ends your career, your freedom, and your life as you know it. Stone's smile didn't waver, but his grip tightened on his champagne glass. "You're bluffing. You don't have enough evidence to—" "I have Bradley Thornton's confession. I have 3 years of financial records. I have communications between you and Maxwell Defense." Elena stepped closer. "And I have the video, Marcus, the video from Djibouti, the one that shows exactly what happened to my son." Now Stone's smile faltered. For the first time since Elena had known him, she saw fear in his eyes. "That video doesn't exist." "It does. Admiral Chen recovered it from a surveillance drone your people forgot to scrub." Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. "I know David wasn't collateral damage. I know you targeted him specifically. I know you had his equipment sabotaged because he was going to expose you. Elena, you murdered my son." The words hung between them. Stone's face went through a rapid series of transformations. Denial, calculation, rage, and finally something that might have been resignation. "David was a problem," Stone said quietly. "A problem that threatened national security." National security? He was exposing corruption. He was exposing operations that protected this country. Messy operations. Ugly operations. The kind of things civilians aren't equipped to understand. Stone's voice hardened. "Your son was about to destroy years of work because he couldn't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture, 19 Marines are dead. Acceptable losses." Stone didn't flinch. "In any operation, there are casualties. Your son understood that. He was a warrior, Elena. He knew the risks. He didn't know the risk was coming from his own side. There are no sides. There's only the mission." Stone checked his watch. "You have 5 minutes, Elena. 5 minutes to walk away. After that, this conversation becomes evidence in your own prosecution." Elena laughed. It was a cold, empty sound. "My prosecution. For assault, for breaking and entering, for threatening a federal contractor." Stone's confidence was returning. "You think you're the hero of this story. You're a vigilante. a rogue operative who went off the reservation and destroyed innocent lives in pursuit of a personal vendetta. Innocent lives. Bradley Thornton is a fool, but he's not a murderer. His father is a patriot who served this country for 40 years, and Stone spread his hands. I'm a legitimate businessman who will be very surprised when a deranged former Navy SEAL accuses me of crimes I didn't commit. You're going to deny everything. I'm going to tell the truth. My truth. Stone leaned close. That's the thing about narratives, Elena. They can be shaped, controlled, redirected. By tomorrow, the story won't be about Maxwell defense or defective armor. It'll be about a grieving mother who lost her mind and attacked the wrong people. You can't spin this. I've been spinning things for 30 years. This is just another operation. Stone straightened his jacket. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an award to accept. Feel free to stay and watch. It might be educational. He walked away. Elena stood motionless. Her hands were shaking. Every instinct screamed at her to follow him, to take him down, to make him pay right here, right now. But Chen was right. That's what he wanted. That's what he expected. She checked her watch. 8:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Her earpiece crackled. Commander, this is Prophet. Story is queued. Sarah Chen is ready. On your signal. Elena raised her champagne glass slightly, the agreed-upon signal. Copy that. Going live in 60 seconds. On the stage, the Maxwell Defense CEO was approaching the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present our Distinguished Service Award to a man who embodies everything our company stands for. A man of integrity, dedication, and unwavering commitment to our nation's defense. Please welcome Colonel Marcus Stone. Applause filled the room. Stone walked toward the stage, shaking hands, accepting congratulations. The picture of success. Elena's phone buzzed. Text from Prophet, story live. CNN picking it up. Fox News. MSNBC. Every major outlet. She watched Stone reach the stage. Watched him accept the award. Watched him turn to face the audience, his prepared speech ready. And then she watched his phone buzz. Stone glanced at it casually. His face changed. Colonel Stone. The CEO touched his arm. Is everything all right? Stone didn't answer. He was staring at his phone, scrolling through what Elena knew was a flood of alerts. The story. The evidence. The video of David's death playing on every screen in America. Colonel Stone. Your speech. The murmuring began. People throughout the room were checking their own phones. Gasps, whispers, shocked expressions turned toward the stage. Oh my God. Is that real? He killed those Marines. Stone looked up. His eyes found Elena across the room. She raised her champagne glass. To justice, she mouthed. Stone's composure shattered. This is lies. This is fabricated evidence. I've been framed by Colonel Stone. A man in a dark suit appeared at the edge of the stage, FBI badge visible. I'm Agent Morrison. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and obstruction of justice. You can't arrest me. I have immunity. Your immunity was revoked 2 hours ago by executive order. Morrison gestured to his team. Hands behind your back, please. Stone tried to run. He made it 3 steps before 2 agents tackled him to the ground. The award, a crystal statue shaped like an eagle, shattered on the stage. The room erupted. Screams, shouts, camera flashes, security trying to maintain order as FBI agents swarmed through every entrance. Elena didn't move. She stood in the middle of the chaos, watching the man who murdered her son being handcuffed on the stage where he was supposed to be celebrated. Elena. Chen appeared beside her. It's done. We got him. It's not done. Elena's voice was distant. Not until he confesses. Not until every family knows exactly what happened to their sons. He'll confess. The evidence is overwhelming. His lawyers are already negotiating. I don't want negotiations. Elena turned to face Chen. I want the truth. All of it. Every operation. Every victim. Every person who helped him cover this up. That could take years. I have years. Elena's eyes went to the stage where Stone was being dragged toward the exit. I have the rest of my life. Stone saw her watching. He stopped struggling long enough to shout across the room. "This isn't over, Elena. You think you've won. I have files on you. I have... Get him out of here." Morrison's voice was cold. The agents hauled Stone through the door. His shouting faded. Elena exhaled. Her legs felt weak. Her heart was racing. "Commander," Duchess's voice in her earpiece. "We're seeing arrests across the city. Margaret Holloway, Thomas Reed, both Pentagon officials, even some of Stone's Prometheus operatives. The whole network is collapsing. Casualties? None so far. Stone's people are surrendering without a fight. They know it's over." Elena closed her eyes. 3 years. 1,096 days of darkness. And finally it was over. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like emptiness. Like reaching the top of a mountain and finding nothing there. "Elena," Chen's voice was gentle. "There's someone who wants to see you." Elena opened her eyes. "Who?" Chen gestured toward the far side of the room. A group of people stood there. Men and women of various ages. Some in military dress uniforms. Some in civilian clothes. All of them watching Elena with expressions she couldn't quite read. "The families," Chen said softly. "The families of the 19 Marines. They saw the story. They came here tonight." Elena's breath caught. "All of them. All of them. They want to thank you." Elena looked at the group. She saw a mother clutching a folded flag, a father with tears streaming down his face, a young woman barely 20 holding a photograph of a Marine who looked just like her. "I can't." Elena's voice broke. "I can't face them. Not yet. Not..." "You have to." Chen squeezed her arm. "They need to see you, Elena. They need to know that someone fought for their sons, that someone cared enough to sacrifice everything." Elena wiped her eyes. Her hands were still shaking. "I don't know what to say to them." "You don't have to say anything. Just be there. Just let them see you." Elena took a deep breath. She straightened her spine. She walked toward the families. The mother with the flag was the first to reach her. She was Elena's age. Same gray hair, same grief carved into every line of her face. "Commander Vasquez." "Yes, ma'am." The woman threw her arms around Elena and sobbed. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Elena held her, held a stranger who shared the same unimaginable loss, held her and let her own tears fall. "I'm sorry," Elena whispered. "I'm so sorry I couldn't save them." "You did save them." The woman pulled back her face wet. "You saved their memory. You saved their honor. You made sure the world knows they didn't die for nothing." One by one, the families came forward. Each one had a story. Each one had a face to share. Each one had grief that no arrest could ever heal. Elena listened to them all. Corporal James Mitchell, 23, wanted to be a teacher. Sergeant Patricia Okonkwo, 29, left behind twin daughters. Lance Corporal David Kim, 21. His mother still set a place for him at dinner. 19 names, 19 lives, 19 empty chairs at family tables across America. "My son," Elena said, finally, her voice hoarse. "My son was one of them. Corporal David Vasquez." The families went silent. "I didn't do this for justice," Elena continued. "I did it for him, for the chance to look him in the eyes again someday and tell him I didn't give up, that I fought until there was nothing left to fight." The father who'd been crying stepped forward. He was a big man, military bearing, the kind of man who didn't show emotion easily. "Your son," he said slowly. "He was in my son's unit. My boy Marcus Webb Jr. He wrote home about David. Said he was the bravest man he'd ever served with. Said David saved his life twice before." He couldn't finish. Elena remembered Marcus Webb, the young man who'd called her at the resort, the account executive who'd warned her about Bradley's plans. "Your grandson," she said. "Marcus. He helped me tonight. He risked everything to do the right thing." The father's eyes widened. Marcus. My grandson Marcus. He's a good man, a brave man. Elena smiled through her tears, like his uncle. The father broke down completely. His wife caught him as he fell. Around them, the ballroom was emptying. FBI agents escorted executives. Reporters shouted questions. The machinery of justice ground forward. But in this corner, time stood still. 19 families, one grieving mother, and the shared understanding that some wounds never heal. They just become part of who you are. 3 hours later, Elena stood alone outside the hotel. The arrests were complete. Stone was in federal custody. The story had been viewed over 50 million times. By morning, it would be the biggest scandal in defense industry history. Her phone rang. Senator Williams. Commander Vasquez, I just watched the most extraordinary takedown I've ever witnessed. It wasn't a takedown, Senator. It was justice. Same thing in Washington. Williams paused. I meant what I said before, about the job, the independent unit. We need someone who can't be bought. I'll think about it. Don't think too long. Stone was just the beginning. There are others like him, other networks, other monsters hiding behind legitimate businesses. I know. Then you know we need you. Williams's voice softened. You're not done fighting, Commander. I can hear it in your voice. This victory, it's not enough. It'll never be enough. Elena looked at the sky. The stars were hidden by city lights, but she knew they were there. David used to name constellations for her when he was a boy. No, she admitted, it'll never be enough. Then let me give you the resources to keep fighting. Let me give you a team, a mission, a purpose. I have a purpose, Senator. Do you, after tonight, what comes next? You go back to cleaning toilets. You disappear into retirement. William's voice was urgent. You're 54 years old, Elena. You have decades left. Are you going to spend them mourning? Or are you going to spend them making sure no other mother has to do what you did? Elena closed her eyes. She thought of the families she'd met tonight, the faces, the stories, the grief that would never fully fade. She thought of David. Send me the details, she said finally. I'll review them. That's all I ask. The line went dead. Elena pocketed her phone. Behind her, the hotel doors opened. Duchess and Reaper emerged. Commander, Reaper's voice was gentle. It's time to go. Where? Anywhere you want. It's over. You can finally rest. Rest. The word felt foreign. Elena had been at war for so long, first against enemies of her country, then against the system that betrayed her son, that she'd forgotten what peace felt like. There's a bar, she said slowly. Dive place about 10 miles from here. David and I used to go there when he was on leave. They have this terrible whiskey that he loved. Duchess smiled. Sounds perfect. One drink. Elena started walking. One drink for David, and then, she paused. And then, we figure out what comes next. Reaper fell into step beside her. What do you think comes next? Elena thought about Senator Williams's offer. About the 19 families who needed someone to keep fighting. About all the other Stones out there hiding in plain sight, protected by systems designed to keep them safe. More war, she said quietly. Different battlefield. Same enemy. You don't have to keep fighting, Elena. You've earned rest. I know. She kept walking. But rest won't bring them back. Rest won't protect the next 19. Rest won't honor what David died for. Then what will... Elena stopped at the curb. A taxi was approaching. Justice, she said. Not just for David, for everyone. For every soldier betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect them. For every family that got a flag instead of a homecoming. For every life sacrificed on the altar of someone's profit margin. The taxi pulled up. Elena opened the door. That's what I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing, William. Not resting, fighting. Until there's nothing left to fight for. She got in the car. Duchess and Reaper followed. Where to? The driver asked. Elena gave him the address. The dive bar. David's place. As the taxi pulled away, she looked back at the hotel one last time. FBI vehicles still surrounded it. News vans crowded the street. The world was watching the story unfold, but Elena wasn't watching anymore. She was already planning the next battle, because the invisible don't rest. They wait, they watch, and when the moment comes, they strike. The bar was exactly as Elena remembered. Dark, cramped, the smell of stale beer and old wood. She ordered David's whiskey. Terrible stuff. Tasted like regret and bad decisions. She drank it anyway. "To you, mijo," she whispered. "We did it. We finally did it." Her phone buzzed. Text from Prophet. "All targets in custody. Network dismantled. Congratulations, Commander." Elena typed back. This was just the beginning. Prophet's response came immediately. "I know. Ready when you are." Elena smiled, set down her glass, looked at her team, her family gathered around her in this dive bar at 3 a.m. "Tomorrow," she said. "Tomorrow we start again." "Start what?" Duchess asked. Elena's eyes hardened. The warrior emerged. "Senator Williams offered me a job. Independent unit. No oversight. No limitations." She met each of their eyes in turn. "I'm going to take it, and I'm going to need a team." Reaper didn't hesitate. "I'm in." Duchess nodded. "Same." Prophet's voice crackled through Elena's earpiece. "You already know my answer, Commander." Elena raised her glass. "Then here's to the next war. May God have mercy on our enemies." "Because we won't," Reaper finished. They drank. Outside, the sun was beginning to rise. A new day, a new chapter, a new mission. And somewhere in a federal holding cell, Marcus Stone sat in darkness, contemplating a future that no longer belonged to him. Justice had come for him in the form of an invisible woman, and justice wasn't finished yet. 6 months passed like soldiers marching toward an inevitable battle. Elena stood in the federal courthouse, her hands folded, her eyes fixed on the man in the defendant's chair. Marcus Stone looked nothing like the warrior she'd known. Prison had aged him. His silver hair had gone white. His posture had collapsed. The predator had become prey. "Has the jury reached a verdict?" "We have your honor." Elena's heart hammered against her ribs. Beside her, the families of the 19 Marines sat in rows of wooden benches. Some held photographs, some held flags, all held their breath. "On the count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree, how do you find guilty?" A sob broke out behind Elena, then another. "On the count of fraud against the United States government, guilty." "On the count of obstruction of justice, guilty." 47 counts, 47 guilty verdicts. Each one a nail in the coffin of everything Marcus Stone had built. Stone didn't react. He sat perfectly still, staring straight ahead, as if he'd known this moment was coming since the night Elena walked into that ballroom. "Colonel Stone." The judge's voice was ice. "Do you have anything to say before I pronounce sentence?" Stone stood slowly. His lawyers tried to stop him, but he shook them off. "Your Honor, I served this country for 34 years. I did things that kept Americans safe. Things that no one will ever know about. Things that Colonel Stone." The judge cut him off. "This court is not interested in your service record. This court is interested in the 19 young men who died because you decided their lives were worth less than your profit margin. Those deaths were murder." The judge's voice rose. "Premeditated, calculated, cold-blooded murder disguised as corporate negligence." He leaned forward. "You don't get to hide behind the flag, Colonel. Not in my courtroom." Stone's jaw tightened. For a moment, just a moment, Elena saw the old warrior emerge. The killer. The predator. Then it was gone. "I have nothing more to say, Your Honor." "Good. Then I'll say this." The judge shuffled his papers. "Marcus Stone, I sentence you to life in federal prison without the possibility of parole. May God have mercy on your soul because this court has none." The gavel fell. The courtroom erupted. Families wept. Reporters shouted questions. FBI agents moved to escort Stone away. Elena didn't move. She watched Stone being led toward the side door, his wrists in chains, his future measured in concrete walls and iron bars. At the door, Stone stopped. He turned his head, finding Elena in the crowd. Their eyes met. "You think this is over?" Stone's voice carried across the chaos. "You think you've won?" Elena walked toward him. The agents tensed, but she held up her hand. "I think 19 families just got justice," she said quietly. "I think you'll spend the rest of your life in a cell thinking about the boys you killed. I think—" Her voice cracked. "I think my son can finally rest." Stone smiled. It was the smile of a man with nothing left to lose. "Your son was weak, Elena. Just like you. You spent 3 years pretending to be nothing, and you know what. You were right. You are nothing. A janitor who got lucky. A mother who couldn't protect her child." Elena felt the words like physical blows, but she didn't flinch. "Maybe," she said. "But this nothing just put you in a cage. This nothing took everything you built and burned it to the ground." She leaned close. "And this nothing is going to spend the rest of her life making sure no one else becomes what you made me." Stone's smile faded. "Enjoy prison, Marcus. I hear the food is terrible." She turned and walked away. Behind her, Stone's voice followed. "This isn't over, Elena. This isn't over." But it was, and they both knew it. The reception hall was packed with people Elena didn't know. Senators, generals, cabinet members, all of them wanting to shake the hand of the woman who'd brought down Marcus Stone, all of them wanting a piece of her story. Elena stood near the window watching the crowd with the detachment of a warrior assessing a battlefield. "You look like you'd rather be anywhere else." Admiral Chen appeared beside her, 2 glasses of champagne in hand. "I would." Elena accepted the glass but didn't drink. "I'm not built for victory laps." "Neither was I. But sometimes you have to let the world celebrate." Chen clinked her glass against Elena's. "You earned this, Commander. Don't dismiss it." "I didn't earn anything. 19 boys died. Their families will never be whole again." Elena's voice was hollow. "Stone is in prison, but that doesn't bring them back. Nothing brings them back." "No, but it means something to the families, to the other soldiers who are safer now because you exposed the corruption." Chen touched her arm. "It means something to me, Elena. I spent 4 years failing to finish what David started. You did what I couldn't. We did it together. We finished it together, but you—" Chen shook her head. "You sacrificed everything, your career, your identity, 3 years of your life. You became invisible so that the truth could become visible." Elena finally looked at her. "Is that what you think? That I sacrificed myself? Didn't you?" "No." Elena set down her champagne. "I found myself. For 30 years I was what the military made me. A weapon, a tool, a means to an end." Her voice strengthened. "These past 3 years I became something else. A mother fighting for her son. A woman who refused to let evil go unpunished. Someone who—" She struggled for words. "Someone who matters. Not because of my rank or my medals, but because I chose to matter." Chen was quiet for a long moment. "Senator Williams is here," she said finally. "He wants to discuss the job offer." "I know. Are you going to take it?" Elena watched the crowd. Politicians laughing. Generals posturing. The machinery of power operating exactly as it always had. "Stone wasn't unique," she said slowly. "He was a symptom. The disease is still there. In every boardroom where profit matters more than people. In every committee where budgets matter more than lives. In every shadow where men like Stone are waiting to be born." "That's not an answer." "Yes, it is." Elena turned to face her. "I'm going to take the job, Patricia. Not because I want power or recognition or revenge. I'm going to take it because someone has to. Someone has to stand in the shadows and watch. Someone has to become invisible so that the invisible can be seen." "That sounds exhausting." "It is." Elena almost smiled. "But it's also who I am. Who I've always been. I just didn't know it until David showed me." Chen nodded slowly. "Then let me give you some advice, from one invisible woman to another." "What's that?" "Don't forget to live. Don't let the mission become everything. I made that mistake. I spent so many years hunting stone that I forgot there was a person underneath the soldier. Chen's voice softened. You have people who love you, Elena. Duchess, Reaper, Prophet, the families you saved. Don't sacrifice them on the altar of duty. Elena thought about her team, about the dive bar at 3 in the morning, about the whiskey that tasted like her son's memory. I won't, she promised. Not this time. Good, Chen straightened. Now go talk to the senator before he bursts a blood vessel. He's been staring at you for 20 minutes. Elena laughed. Actually laughed for the first time, and she couldn't remember how long. Yes, ma'am. Senator Williams cornered her near the buffet table. Commander Vasquez, you've been avoiding me. I've been processing. Elena grabbed a piece of cheese she had no intention of eating. It's been a long 6 months. I imagine so. Trial preparation, testimony, the media circus. Williams shook his head. You handled it with remarkable grace. I handled it with remarkable exhaustion. Grace had nothing to do with it. Williams smiled. Fair enough. So, the job. Have you made a decision? I have some questions first. Ask. Elena set down the cheese. This unit you're proposing, what exactly would it do? Whatever needs to be done. Williams's voice dropped. There are dozens of defense contractors operating right now with the same business model as Maxwell. Cutting corners, falsifying tests, accepting casualties as the cost of doing business. The existing oversight systems are compromised, bought and paid for by the companies they're supposed to regulate. And you want me to fix that. I want you to break it. I want you to embed your people in these companies, become janitors, security guards, cafeteria workers, invisible. His eyes gleamed. And when you find corruption, I want you to expose it, publicly, spectacularly, the way you exposed Maxwell. That takes resources. You'll have them. Budget, personnel, legal protection, everything you need. And oversight. Minimal. You report directly to me. No committees, no bureaucracy, no politicians looking over your shoulder asking inconvenient questions. Elena studied him. Why are you doing this? Politicians don't usually fund vigilante operations. Williams was quiet for a moment. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a photograph. It showed a young Marine, early 20s, bright smile, dog tags visible around his neck. My nephew, Williams said quietly. Private First Class Thomas Williams. He was stationed in Afghanistan in 2018. His Humvee hit an IED. The armor plating had been subcontracted to a company that... He stopped. The plating failed. Thomas was the only fatality. Elena looked at the photograph. Another face, another name, another chair empty at a family table. I'm sorry. So am I. I've spent 6 years trying to find out what happened. 6 years being stonewalled by the Pentagon, by contractors, by everyone who's supposed to protect our soldiers. Williams put the photograph away. When I saw what you did to Maxwell, I knew. I knew you were the answer I'd been looking for. I'm not an answer, Senator. I'm just a mother who got angry. That's exactly what we need. Anger. Righteous, focused, unstoppable anger. Williams leaned closer. Will you do it, Commander? Will you help me make sure no other family goes through what yours did, what mine did? Elena thought about David, about Thomas Williams, about the 19 Marines whose faces she would carry in her heart forever. She thought about Marcus Stone rotting in a cell. She thought about all the other Stones out there, waiting, watching, profiting from death. Yes, she said, I'll do it. Williams exhaled. Thank you. When can you start? I already have. Elena pulled out her phone. My team has identified 3 potential targets. Defense contractors with suspicious financial patterns. We've been building files for the past 4 months. 4 months, but you hadn't even agreed to... I agreed the moment I watched Stone get sentenced. Elena's eyes hardened. I just wanted to make sure you were serious before I committed. Williams laughed. You were testing me. I test everyone, Senator. It's how I've survived this long. And did I pass? Elena looked at the photograph still visible in his jacket pocket. Thomas Williams, bright smile, dog tags. You passed. She extended her hand. Welcome to the war, Senator. I hope you're ready. Williams shook it firmly. I was born ready, Commander. We'll see about that. 2 weeks later, Elena stood in a warehouse on the outskirts of Washington. Her team surrounded her. Duchess reviewing financial records on a laptop. Reaper cleaning a weapon that would hopefully never need to be used. Prophet monitoring communications from 3 different continents. And 2 new faces. Derek Mitchell, the security guard who'd chosen honor over employment. And Marcus Webb Jr., the grandson who'd risked everything to expose his own company. All right, Elena said. Let's talk about our next target. Duchess pulled up a presentation. Olympus Defense Solutions, 3rd largest contractor in the country, specializes in communications equipment for forward deployed units. What's the problem? Their encryption software has a backdoor. We believe they're selling access to foreign intelligence services. Evidence. Circumstantial for now. Financial transfers to shell companies in Cyprus. Suspicious communications between their CEO and known intermediaries. Duchess looked up. We need someone inside to confirm. Elena nodded. Derek, you're up. Their headquarters is in Baltimore. They're hiring security. Your background will get you through the door. Derek straightened. Yes, ma'am. What's my timeline? 6 months minimum. Probably longer. These operations don't move fast. Understood. Marcus. Elena turned to Webb. I need you to work the financial angle. Your background in corporate accounting will be useful. Find me a paper trail I can take to court. Marcus, so different from the nervous young man who'd called her at the resort, nodded firmly. I won't let you down, Commander. I know you won't. Elena looked at each of them in turn. This is what we do now. We become invisible. We watch. We wait. And when the moment comes, we bring the whole house down. Sounds familiar, Reaper said dryly. It should. It's exactly what we did to Maxwell. Elena's voice hardened. But this time we do it better. Faster. More thoroughly. No loose ends. No compromises. No mercy. And if we find what we're looking for, Duchess asked, what then? Then we expose them. We destroy them. And we move on to the next target. Elena walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. Stone told me once that there are no sides, just the mission. He was wrong. There are sides. There's us, and there's them. The people who protect, and the people who profit, the invisible and the exposed. She turned back to face her team. We chose our side a long time ago. Now we fight for it. Every day, every mission, every life we save. Her voice rose. This isn't just a job. It's not just justice. It's a calling, a purpose. The reason we wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night knowing that we matter. Amen to that, Reaper said quietly. Any questions? Silence. 5 faces. 5 warriors. Ready for whatever came next. Then let's get to work. The night before Derek deployed to Baltimore, Elena drove to Arlington. She walked alone through the rows of white headstones, her footsteps soft on the grass. The moon was full. The stars were bright. The kind of night David would have loved. She found his grave and knelt beside it. Hey, mijo. The wind rustled through the trees. Elena imagined it was David answering. It's been 6 months since the trial. 6 months since Stone went away. Sometimes I still can't believe it happened. Still can't believe we won. She traced the letters of his name. Senator Williams gave me the job. We're building something new. Something that might actually make a difference. Duchess calls it the Ghost Unit. Reaper thinks that's pretentious. Prophet just calls it the team. A small smile crossed her face. I wish you could meet them, David. You'd like them. They're good people. Broken in some ways. We all are, but good. They believe in something. They fight for something, just like you did. Her voice caught. I think about you every day. Every morning when I wake up. Every night before I sleep. I see your face in strangers. I hear your voice in the wind. Sometimes... She stopped. Sometimes I forget you're gone. I reach for my phone to call you, and then I remember. Tears fell onto the white marble. I don't know if I'll ever stop missing you. I don't think I'm supposed to. Missing you means I loved you, means you mattered, means your life had meaning beyond the years you were given. She wiped her eyes. The families are doing better. Not good, none of us are good, but better. They're talking to each other, supporting each other, building something out of the wreckage Stone left behind. She paused. Mrs. Webb started a foundation in her son's name, raises money for soldiers transitioning back to civilian life. She asked me to sit on the board. I said yes. The wind picked up. Elena pulled her jacket tighter. I need to go soon. Derek ships out tomorrow. First mission of our new unit. I'm scared for him, David. Scared he'll make a mistake. Scared I'll get him killed like I got... She stopped herself. I didn't get you killed, mijo. I know that now. Took me a long time to accept it, but I know. Stone killed you. The system killed you. The corruption and greed and indifference killed you. Not me. She stood slowly. But I can honor you. I can make sure your death meant something. I can spend whatever years I have left making the world a little bit safer for the sons and daughters who come after you. She placed her hand on the headstone. That's my promise to you, David. Not revenge, not anger, purpose. Every day, every mission, every life we save, it's for you. It's all for you. She leaned down and kissed the cold marble. Te amo, mijo. Until we meet again. She walked away into the darkness. Behind her, the wind seemed to whisper in a voice she almost recognized. Te amo, mama. I'm proud of you. Elena smiled through her tears and kept walking. 1 year later, Elena sat in a congressional hearing room. The cameras were rolling. Senators sat behind elevated desks. The gallery was packed with reporters, families, veterans, all watching the woman who had become the most famous, invisible person in America. Commander Vasquez, the committee chairman, leaned forward. In the past 12 months, your unit has conducted 17 investigations. You've exposed corruption at 8 major defense contractors. Your work has led to 47 arrests and the recovery of over $2 billion in defrauded government funds. Yes, sir. You've also become something of a folk hero. The viral video of your humiliation has been viewed over 100 million times. Your story has been featured in documentaries, books, even a proposed movie. Elena didn't react. I'm aware, sir. What I want to know is why. Why do you keep doing this? You've proven your point. You've avenged your son. You could retire tomorrow with full honors. Why continue? Elena was quiet for a moment. She thought about David, about Stone, about the 19 families who still gathered every year to remember their lost sons. Senator, when I was 22 years old, I became the first woman to complete Navy SEAL qualification. The men who trained me said I'd never make it, said I was too small, too weak, too female. She paused. I made it anyway, not because I was special, but because I refused to quit. And that's why you continue stubbornness. No, sir. Elena leaned forward. I continue because I finally understand what those trainers were trying to teach me. Being a SEAL isn't about physical strength or combat skills. It's about commitment. About deciding that some things matter more than comfort, more than safety, more than your own life. She looked directly at the camera. The soldiers we send into combat deserve equipment that works. The families who wait at home deserve to know their loved ones are protected. The flag we fight under deserves to mean something more than profits and politics. Her voice rose. That's why I continue, Senator. Not for revenge, not for glory, for them, for all of them. The gallery erupted in applause. The chairman banged his gavel. Order, order. Elena sat back, her face calm, her heart racing. Beside her, Admiral Chen, now her official liaison to the Senate, leaned over. Well done, Commander. I meant every word. I know. That's what makes you dangerous. Elena almost smiled. The hearing continued for another 3 hours. Questions about methodology, about oversight, about the constitutional implications of a quasi-governmental unit operating in the shadows. Elena answered them all. Patiently. Thoroughly. Without apology. When it was over, she walked out into the afternoon sun. Her team was waiting. Duchess with updated files on their next target. Reaper with security assessments. Prophet with intercepted communications, Derek with intelligence from his ongoing operation, Marcus with financial analysis that would put 3 more executives behind bars. Well, Duchess asked, how did it go? They're going to increase our funding by 40%. Seriously. The chairman wants results. We deliver results. It's not complicated. Reaper laughed. Nothing's ever complicated with you, Commander. That's not true. Elena started walking toward their vehicle. Everything is complicated. We just choose to do it anyway. Her phone buzzed. Text from Senator Williams. Good work today. New target identified. Details to follow. Elena typed back. We're ready. She looked at her team, her family, the warriors who had followed her into darkness and emerged stronger on the other side. Let's go, she said. We have work to do. That night, Elena sat alone in her apartment, a simple place, sparse, nothing like the life she'd lived before David died. On the table in front of her sat 2 photographs. One showed David in his Marine uniform, young and proud and impossibly alive. The other showed Elena and her team outside the Maxwell courthouse the day after Stone's conviction. Between them sat a Medal of Freedom. The president had given it to her last month. She'd accepted it with grace and put it in a drawer where it belonged. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Commander Vasquez. A woman's voice. Young. Scared. Who is this? My name is Sarah Mitchell. I work at Titan Industries. The voice broke. I found something bad. I don't know who to trust. I don't know what to do. Elena sat up straighter. Take a breath, Sarah. Tell me what you found. Documents, emails, proof that Titan has been selling missile guidance systems to... Sarah stopped. I can't say on the phone. They might be listening. Where are you? Phoenix. I'm hiding in a motel. I don't know how long I can stay here. Elena was already moving, grabbing her jacket, her weapon, her keys. Listen to me, Sarah. I'm going to send someone to get you. Her name is Duchess. She's the best there is. Can you trust her? I think so. Good. Stay where you are. Don't talk to anyone. Don't trust anyone. In 6 hours, you'll be safe. How do you know? Elena paused at the door. Through the window, she could see the lights of Washington stretching toward the horizon. A city of power and corruption. A city that ate the innocent and protected the guilty. A city she had sworn to change. Because I've been where you are, Sarah. Scared. Alone. Not knowing if anyone would believe me. Her voice softened. But someone believed me. Someone helped me. And now I'm going to help you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me yet. The hard part is just beginning. She ended the call and dialed Duchess. We have a new asset, Phoenix, codename Sparrow. Extraction protocols apply. Understood. I'll be airborne in 30 minutes. Good. And Kath? Yeah. Tell her she's not alone. Tell her there's a whole army of invisible people watching over her. Copy that, Commander. Elena hung up. She looked at the photographs one last time. David's smile. Her team's solidarity. 2 images that told the story of who she had been and who she had become. She picked up David's photograph and pressed it to her heart. Another one, Mijo. Another voice in the darkness. Another chance to do what you would have done. She set the photograph down gently. Then Commander Elena Vasquez, Mother Warrior Ghost, walked out the door and disappeared into the night. Because the invisible never rest. They watch. They wait. They protect. And when the moment comes, they change the world. That was the legacy David Vasquez left behind. That was the promise his mother would keep forever. Not revenge, not anger. Justice. Pure, unstoppable, eternal justice. And God help anyone who stood in its way.